some of the narrative that has come out from the police chief, from the city council. They want to pin everything on what they're calling outside agitators. It seems to me that that's not the case. Are there people that are coming from out of the state to support the movement? Yes, there are, but that doesn't mean that everybody
Right.
is an outside agitator. Which I think also, the one guy that they did arrest that is local there, they're now blaming him for being the ringleader. I watched the bail hearing, and one of the things the DA said was that because this person was the local person they arrested, he must ergo be the ringleader of Antifa
Right.
or whatnot. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. The thinnest of circumstances. So I want to ask you about this law that they're using. It's a 2017 law. It's a state law. These are not federal charges. It was created to apparently thwart domestic terrorism, a la Dylan Roof, a guy that's actually a domestic terrorist. But it seems to me they are now politically using this law to just squash dissent.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the first time that we're aware that this statute has actually been used to charge people. And like you said, there's now 42 people who have been charged with domestic terrorism, some potentially for allegedly being a part of the Stop Cop City movement, others for attending a music festival last Sunday who were picked up and indiscriminately arrested by the police.
Let us go home! 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 Let us go home!
And that point that you mentioned with the outside agitators is so important because this is absolutely the strategy that we're seeing from sort of the Atlanta ruling class, is to paint this movement as outside agitators. And you can see that strategy really specifically. So on Sunday, you can see that The Intercept reported this. There were originally about 34, 35 people detained by the police. They only ended up taking 23 of them to jail and charging them. And what we heard from on the ground, and then what the Intercept coverage confirmed, was that as they were arresting and detaining people, they were checking folks' licenses, and people who were from in-state were released, and people who were from out of state were kept and taken to the jail. And so this is all a part of furthering this outside agitator narrative. And this is a narrative that goes back to the civil rights movement and before. And, MLK spoke out directly against this narrative, saying we should be caring about what's happening in other cities. And of course, today, Cop City is an issue that, of course, impacts Atlanta, and that's why the movement started in Atlanta. But the reason you see solidarity protests all over the country and all over the world, and you see people coming to Atlanta, is because folks on the ground are asking people to be in solidarity with us, because Cop City is going to impact people across the world and across the country.